All right, my loves, welcome to Wednesday night team call. So team calls are changing. Starting in August, they're going to be Tuesday at 11 a.m. EST. So just heads up, that worked a lot better for a lot of people. So we made that switch. So you can look forward to that. Also, every other month, we do a book club. So what we're going to start doing, hey, there's Maddie. Hi, Maddie. Welcome. So every other month we do a book club. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have, Sable and I are going to create a calendar ahead of time for the whole 6 months. So you guys can know what books we're going to be covering every other month. And then we're going to keep the months in between are going to be training topics. So we're going to talk about, today something came up that happened to Tanya, which is that even though she was talking to someone, they went ahead and signed with someone else as a Beachbody coach. And she was like, why did that happen? And the first thing I asked her was, did she know you were a Beachbody coach? Because this happens a lot. And it happened to Sable 4 times. So we're going to do a whole presentation on why that happens. But hint, hint, if that's happening and people are signing up with other people that are coaches, it's probably because you're not telling them that you're a Beachbody coach. That's really, really important, because when people know what Beachbody is and they have an idea of what they're looking for with a Beachbody coach. If they have no idea that you're a Beachbody coach, they're going to go find someone who's talking about being a Beachbody coach and be like, I'm going to work with that human because that human is a Beachbody coach, right? So if you just tell them ambiguously that you're a coach, but they don't actually know what you do, that it involves fitness, that it involves nutrition, that you can help them with those things, they're not going to know. Right? That you have the ability. Melanie is a trainer, so she already is talking about fitness and nutrition. So they just assume that she can help them, and then Melanie gets to decide in what capacity she's going to help them. But unless that's your actual job, the rest of the time, people don't know that. So you have to actively tell them the things. So that's a big lesson. We'll be talking about that in next month. We're not doing a book. We're doing just training topics, and that's going to go into that next month. So for this month, we were reading Go Giver Leadership. First of all, if you've never read The Go Giver, which is the original book, it's a phenomenal book about business. And there's 4 books in the series. There's Go Giver, there's Go Giver Sell More, Go Giver Leadership, and Go Giver Influencer. So for September, we will be reading Go Giver Influencer. So go ahead and hop on getting Go Giver Influencer now, because you're going to want to have that for our September meetings. That's what we're going to cover. Okay. So, anybody have any questions on that stuff before I jump into the book, or questions on the new schedule that we're gonna be implementing? Nope. Okay, there's a chat box too, so you don't have to talk. You can actually chat. There's a little chat box in the corner. Okay, so in this section of the book, so just to catch you guys up on Go Giver Leadership, it's about a main character called Ben who's going into a company. 11 a.m. EST is what it'll be starting in August, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. EST. A character called Ben who goes into a company called Allen and Augustine. They make high-end quality chairs, and the company is struggling. And he is part of another company that basically wants to buy out Allen and Augustine, offer them a merger, and come in and save the company from going bankrupt. So his job, Ben's job, is to go into Allen and Augustine and to get the leaders of the company to say yes to the merger. That's his job. And he's struggling with that because at every point he's being met with resistance as he's talking to all of these leaders. They're like, he's thinking, he's going in with this mentality of I'm going to convince them and I'm going to win them over. That's the attitude he's bringing to the conversation. And they're giving him this whole other element of business, which involves family, which involves knowing every single person that you work with and leading as a servant leader and leading from the front and vision and all of these things that he had never been exposed to ever. So he's caught between worlds right now, in a world that is very, hardcore, old school, used car salesman mentality. And then he's coming into this business where nobody operates that way and nobody's talking to him that way. So he feels very out of place. He doesn't know how to approach this whole merger situation. So at the same time that that's happening and he's really struggling with figuring out how to win these people over, in the book, there's these segments where he's going to meet his friend Claire for lunch. And Claire happens to have her aunt with her. Her name is Aunt Elle, and she's a very elderly woman. And Ben later finds out she's a very successful businesswoman. And so she's dropping these wisdom bombs on him throughout the book and sort of teaching him about what Ellen and Augustine are all about, because he just doesn't get it. He is not understanding like leadership. He's not understanding how to win them over or influence them. He is really just not understanding. So, okay, I'm going to go to our chapters, which were chapter 8 through 11. And I'm just going to share some highlights. So in this chapter of being muddy, she's talking about Pindar, which is the original character from the first book, and how he was a very eccentric, super successful business person. There's Sable. And Ben wanted to know, how did he get so successful? Like, what was the secret to his success? Like, why did everybody seek him out? And so Elle's telling the story of how he went to pitch early on in his career to a company of like machines. It was like tech machines or something. And he won the bid over all the other companies that were pitching these people, even though he had less experience, like in sales. He wasn't an experienced salesperson. And so Ben was like, well, then how did he win? And Elle's explaining to him that he knew everything about the machines. He knew the machines inside and out. He knew every single component of it. He made sure he was super, super educated on what it was that he was bringing to his people, on what he was bringing to his clients. And so Ben asked him, so he was really into these business machines? And she says, no, not really. It wasn't about the machines. It was about the client. Pindar's gift is entrepreneurship, not electronics. And over the years, he built businesses in many different fields. But whatever he did, he always took the time to make sure that he understood what it was his clients would need and exactly how his product or service would fulfill that need. So it didn't really matter what he was doing. It's like he made sure that he got the bridge between this is what my client needs and wants, and this is how my product and service can fill that need. And because he became so well versed in that, he could fill that gap for people at any point in time, in any business, no matter what it was that he was doing. When Pindar went in for that interview, there wasn't a question they asked that he couldn't answer. He was prepared. The client took this as a gesture of respect for them and their time, which was exactly what it was, and gave him the contract on the spot. Okay. Corporations started paying him huge sums for his advice because they knew that he knew what he was talking about. He had done the work. Okay, so this is where the introduction of doing the work comes from, right? In our business, transferring that over, what does that look like? It looks like doing our internal work, number one. It looks like doing our mind work, our thought work, our belief system work. And it looks like doing our physical work too, our fitness work, our nutrition work, and showing up for ourselves. Because why are people going to trust you with that journey of theirs if they don't see you showing up for your journey of yours? They have no reason to trust you with that. Why would they? They're going to go look for a Beachbody coach that is doing the programs and is teaching them about this stuff and knows what they're talking about, correct? Same thing with recruiting coaches. If you're stuck recruiting coaches, do the people following you know that you can lead them anywhere? Do they know that you know how to teach them how to do this? That you have systems in place to like mentor them? Do they know that? First of all, Sable and I have created all the things for you. So if you didn't realize, on our team page, there's a learning unit called New Coach. Boom. Full of useful videos and things. You just have to direct a new coach to there when you enroll them. They have all the things. Secondly, when you sign into your coach online office, up top, there's a tab that says training. All of my new coaches, click on training, click on getting started, boom, done. Beachbody did all the training for you. You don't even have to think about that stuff. But a lot of you guys are hesitating on recruiting because you're like, I have to like reinvent the wheel. I have to make all these materials. All these materials already exist. No, you don't. You just have to like tell them where it is. That's it, right? But you have to know where it is. You have to know where it is. You have to done training yourself. You have to have done the work, which is this whole segment in the book, right? So our job is twofold. We have to have done the work on ourselves with fitness and nutrition and mindset, and we have to have done the business work. We have to have understood what it's like to be on a team call, what it's like to lead a team call, what it's like to recruit. If you're going to tell your coaches to recruit, you better know how to recruit. You better know like what you do to recruit, because that's important to teach them to replicate your success. If you're going to teach them to run a challenge group, are you running a challenge group? Have you done that yet? Do you know what that takes? That's really important. Okay. Is this like sinking in? Like, in order for you to see success in your business, you have to do your work. That is a sign of respect for the people that you're helping and that you're bringing on, that you know what you're talking about because you've done it. Like, if I was on this team not recruiting or not doing anything, not running any groups, would y'all take me seriously? If I wasn't running team calls, if I wasn't like helping people, yeah, I'd be like, what? Like, she crazy. What is she even talking about right now? Like, I can't take her seriously. That's part of leadership. It's modeling. It's doing the work, showing up. I have a lot of quotes from that chapter. Anybody else have quotes from Being Muddy, specifically chapter 8? If you do, please share. I'm sure they'll overlap. I have like 5,000. I should have just circled the whole book, that whole chapter. Would have been easier. Just select all, highlight. You can type too. Don't feel like you need to talk. Y'all have a type section. It's cool. I hear someone typing. I'm imagining someone's typing a quote. I liked where she discussed the root of humility. Did anybody highlight that quote where she talks about the origin of the word humility? How Elle says, in order for you to be hugely successful, you have to be hugely humbled. That was really interesting. In order for you to be hugely successful, you have to be hugely humble. She says the word humility shares a common root with humus. Being humble means being aware of your connection with the dust of the earth. The soil, she says, is the source of everything we have. Remember your muddy beginnings and you can accomplish anything. People who achieve great things that the world will never forget start out by accomplishing small things that the world will never see. Write that one down and read it all the time. People who achieve great things that the world will never forget start out by accomplishing small things that the world will never see. This business is a perfect model of that. There are so many small things that you guys do every day, from listening to personal development, making your Shakeology, showing up for your workout, talking to some people. Like, there's so many behind the scenes, working on your mindset, hopping on calls that people won't have the privilege to see, that make all the difference, that set the track for your success. And I think a lot of times we get impatient because we have this vision for where we want to be. And it's like, it's getting there that makes us feel this level of like impatience, right? But part of being humble, even as you're having all this success and learning, is remembering like the origin of your work and never stepping away from the origin, which was the small things. The very first things, the things you're doing now in your business, you will do forever. Whether you're wherever you are in rank or a 15-star superstar diamond coach, it's not going to change. It's the same work, literally. The only thing that's going to change is how many leaders you're working with at a time. Other than that, it's the same work. And I think because it's the same, and because you will forever be doing the same work that a new coach is doing, it allows you to stay humble. It's very easy to be humble in this business because you're always doing the same work. It doesn't stop. Like you imagine it would, it doesn't. And in fact, the top coaches that Sable and I have both met, they're super humble. I mean, in this particular company, they're some of the most humble, down-to-earth people you'll ever meet. And they're shy, in fact. Like, I thought Melissa McAllister was going to disappear behind a wall when we tried to talk to her. She's, like, been a top 10 coach for literally, like, 11 years. And when we said hi to her in the bathroom line, I thought she was, like, going to disappear behind the wall. Like, literally, she was that shy. So just know that if you are painfully shy, if this is part of your process, like, you can still be insanely successful at this business. And that, in fact, being that way and having that level of, like, to me, that's a form of humility, because she's very true to who she is. She doesn't try to be something that she's not. You don't have to change that about yourself. You can be exactly who you are and still have massive success in this business. That's completely possible. Oh, and the follow-up quote to what I just read, you can't worry about the outcome, Claire added quietly. Just do the work. And not only because it needs doing, but also because that's the only way you'll generate real respect. Do not worry about the outcome, just do the work. So earlier in the week, I talked about tracking. And I said, please don't track outcomes. Because when you track outcomes, that's when shit goes awry. When you're trying to track things like how many success club points do I have, or what is my income, right? Please don't do that. Track your actions, track the conversations you're having, the invites you're sending, track the things you can control, because when you're tracking what you're controlling, it shows you empowerment and progress. You can't control the outcomes of this business. So don't get caught up in doing that, because that will be very discouraging. You can't control if someone says yes or no. You can't control any of that. The only thing you control is the actions that you take. So track your work. Okay, Tanya, there you go. This was for you. I'm just going to drop this message for you. Also, before Melanie's phone dies, I do want to take a screenshot of a group of us, and then I'll also add it to our team page so that you guys can share it if you want to share it. Will you be willing to be in a picture with me? Because I know her phone's going to die, so I want to catch it before her phone dies. Can y'all give me your best smiles? The cutest ones. Don't give me the other ones. Give me the cute ones. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna add this to our team page. Y'all so cute. You came out so cute in that picture. Oh my goodness. All right. So that was really chapter 8. That's all I had from chapter 8. Anybody else, please jump in. Remembering your muddy beginnings. And actually at Power of I Am at Summit, someone said this, and now I can't remember who said it. Sable, maybe you might remember, but maybe it was Andrea who said, I'm passionate about where I'm going because I remember where I started. I think she said something like that. Like, I'm passionate about my vision because I remember my beginnings. And I was like, damn, isn't that the truth? And I think that's so important as coaches, that we working with people who are coming into this world, either coming in as a new coach or coming in as a client, that we stay really connected to remembering our beginnings, like why we started doing this and what drew us to it, because that will make us relatable forever. As you grow in this business and you succeed and you change, there will be a level of relatability that changes. But right now, especially, there's so much you can relate on because of why you started this journey. Yeah, Tanya, this is like really powerful. This is what makes you, just the other day when I was signing up Leah, and she was carrying her 3-month-old, and I remembered, man, I started Beachbody coaching when Santi was exactly that age. Like, exactly. It was such a full circle moment. To hear her talk about her experience of motherhood sounded exactly like I was talking to myself. It was literally hearing me, and knowing how much I accomplished in these 3 years and hoping and seeing that for her was so life-giving. It was like, man, if I can help her get here and see what's possible for her, it would have made this entire Beachbody journey totally worth it. So really staying connected to your beginnings, I feel, is everything in this business. Okay, so chapter 9 was very interesting because in chapter 9, Ben is supposed to go have a conversation with Karen, which is like the fourth main partner in the business of Alan and Augustine, the chair company. But when he goes to her office, she's not there. She's at the hospital. And he finds out that she's at the hospital because one of their employees was giving birth and had complications and ended up in critical care, and the baby ended up in critical care. And another employee, her grandmother was in the hospital and didn't have any visitors. So Karen, who is like the person who signs everybody's checks, was at the hospital taking care of these two families. And Ben showed up and was like, what are you doing here? There's nothing you can really do being here. And she's like, that's not the point. It's not about what we are doing, it's who we are being. And I was like, oh. And she dropped some mad wisdom on him about that. And one of my favorite points, when she's talking about the merger, and she's like, look, I know that you want us to do this merger. And she's like, I don't know if this merger is a good idea. I don't know if this merger is a bad idea. The economy's bad right now. 10 years ago, it was great. 10 years from now, who knows? My point is, economies rise and fall, circumstances change, we bleed, we heal, we grow. Sometimes we end up in critical care. We can't control any of it, not really. What we can control is who we are. And bottom line, that's the only thing that counts. And I thought that was like everything. There was another follow-up quote to that was really good. Oh, here it is. What you have to give, she continued, you offer least of all through what you say, in greater part through what you do, but in greatest part through who you are. Let that sink in real quick. And here's why I think that's so powerful. Because if you focus on what you truly value, like what you actually stand for and who you are, it will naturally influence what you say and what you do. Naturally. When you get very concerned about saying the right thing, doing the right thing, and you let those things become so important and so inflated in your mind, oftentimes at the expense of who you are and what you stand for, it'll never be enough. It'll never sound good enough. It'll never be deep enough. It won't move people to action. It won't be inspiring. But when you focus on who am I, what do I stand for, and operate from that place, everything else is born of that. The things to say to your people, the actions to take in your business, it all generates from that place. That is like, to me, the most reliable source of information for you in this business is who you are and what you stand for. Oh man, this is the chapter where Ben talks about his loss, which anybody else was surprised at that part of the chapter when that conversation happened with Elle? I was like, oh no. And as a parent, I think it just hit me worse because he's telling this story to Elle of his interaction with Karen. And, you know, after he stopped talking to Karen, he went into the room with the employee's grandmother and kind of just held her hand, not knowing why, and just stayed there for hours. And eventually he ended up staying there for a long time, trying to figure out if Amy and her baby were going to be okay, which is the other employee of the company. And he was late to a lunch date with Aunt Elle, who he's been meeting with every single afternoon. And when he gets there, he's kind of explaining why he's late. And Elle just sort of looks at him and asks him, have you ever had a loss? You know, and he just kind of goes cold and he starts telling the story of his loss. So I'm just going to read that small segment because I think it's important. He looked at her with amazement. Yes, he nodded slowly. We had a son. He thought for a moment, then added, oh, Claire must have told you that. And she shook her head. No, Claire is very good at respecting privacies. Then how did you? It shows, dear, she said gently. Life leaves a mark. None of us passes through the experience of our days unblemished or pristine. We all suffer tragedies and disappointments, struggles and failures, losses great and small, and every one of them hurts. Life leaves a mark, she repeated, and Ben was quiet. We can try to cover it up, although if we do, we just tend to grow bitter on the inside. Or we can embrace who we are, that is, who we are in the process of becoming. Embrace the hurt, and it deepens you. It makes you a richer person. Deny, reject, hold it at bay, fight it off, and it simply hardens you. Either way, it engraves itself onto your soul. She paused to take another sip of her tea and to let the words sink in. So, she continued, what do you have to offer those people? I'm not sure I know the answer either. Those people being Alan and Augustine. I know that competence counts. If you want people to follow you, they need to trust that you know what you're doing. But that's the smaller part of it. They need to trust your competence, yes. But even more, they need to trust your character. Competence is simply the baseline, the thing that puts you in the game. It matters, but honestly, it's a dime a dozen. Character, though. Character is that rare, precious gem that anyone who possesses it worth a great deal to the world around them. My father used to say you can judge someone's character by what he does when no one's watching. I believe that was one of my father's finer utterances. She looked kindly at Ben. I suppose that prompts the question, what creates character? I think perhaps it's the choices you make, how you choose to respond to what life throws at you. Ben was still unable to speak. Aunt Elle reached over and placed a strong hand on top of one of his. You can lead only as far as you grow, and you will grow only as far as you let yourself. Yikes, said Ben softly. Yikes indeed, Aunt Elle agreed. A writer I admire once said, I write to find out what I think, and here's what I think, Ben. I think we live to find out who we are. I love that line. I think we live to find out who we are. This is kind of an aside, but it came from Bob Heilig, whose program I'm in right now, and who's really amazing at network marketing and teaching network marketing. And he said, you know, network marketing is a character development program with a compensation plan. He said, if you really want to talk about real character development, join a network marketing company. It's like people have no idea the great lengths to do this right, to do this job right, and to do it with integrity, how much you have to grow as a person, how much you have to learn about who you are and why you're here, and how deeply you have to care about people enough to be respectful and persistent. It's like people don't know, they don't get it. So the next time anybody questions you on being a part of this type of company, understand that being here is building you in a way that few other things can. And the positive side effect of that is you get an amazing compensation plan in a very short period of time if you commit to your growth. And when he said that, I was like, damn, that really hit me. And here's something else that he hit, because I know that we're spiritual. Every single person on this call uses the word God or universe or some form of it. I'm going to use the word God because that word really resonates with me. In one of his videos, he said, God brought you to network marketing for a reason, and he wants you to use that as a tool. And I can't tell you how much that resonates with me, because I have seriously questioned my role in this organization, in this type of organization, so many times. And every time that I've done that, God has given me a vision or has spoken to me directly or has made me literally fall to my knees, like he did at Summit in the middle of a presentation, and recognize that I was put here for a reason, to deliver my purpose in a very specific platform. And that all this time I was running from that and trying to avoid it instead of embracing it. And that could have changed everything for me. So I pass this on to you because it is not a coincidence that you're here. And I truly believe that this is one of the most powerful vehicles that exists in the world for creating change. And in our company, all the network marketing companies offer a compensation plan and the promise of having upward mobility monetarily. But our company really offers that twofold. Not only does it offer that and very generously, but it offers the health component from a very real aspect. It can literally transform someone's life like this. And so I just want you guys to have that in your spirit, that you being here was a divine ordinance. It wasn't random. And how would you treat this business if you really felt like it was given to you by God? Like, how would you show up for this if you felt, if it was like it was a divine calling on your soul? Would you be so lackadaisical with it if you really believed that that was true? Makes me wonder, right? Always makes me wonder. So the next time you're like in that place of like resisting doing your work, go into prayer, go into meditation, like ask for courage, ask for the faith to do what's yours to do, because this is not a random assignment, like straight up. I don't know who needed to hear that, but someone did, because it just came out of me. So, oh, Susie did. Good. Someone did. Church happened and I don't know why, but there it was. All right. Anybody else want to share? I'm like sharing all the quotes. Please feel free. Share some things. Imprint on the Soul is the final chapter, I think, unless I finished reading early, which is totally possible. But I did that. Oh, yes. I didn't highlight anything in Robbie's chapter. That was the last one. He halted. It's funny. Oh, I loved how okay, I'm skipping a whole chapter, but in the last chapter, he's talking about going to his son's like martial arts class. And before they do combat, the teacher's like talking about the 4 pillars or whatever of the class: mind, connection, flow, and honor. And I was like, boom. Like tying that martial arts connection component to this to business in general was really powerful for me. And how she talked about it. The battle is over before either of you lands the first blow. It is waged first and foremost in the mind. See the entire sequence unfold in your mind's eye before you make the first move. See the other contestant on the floor, subdued and unhurt. The only question is, how can you best help to put him there? She's talking about the pillars for martial arts. Mind, connection is 2. It is possible to fight a good match only when you join the person you are fighting. Rather than seeing your sparring partner as an opponent to be beaten, regard him as a collaborator, working together with you toward a shared conclusion. When you put him on the mat, it is not that you have vanquished him, but that you have used his force and trajectory together with your own to bring about a harmonious resolution in which both of you emerge unhurt. You have triumphed and won the match, but it is a win that honors you both. I thought that was really powerful, because sometimes I think when it comes to sales, we have this mentality of like, I'm going to win and they're going to lose. Like, how many of you guys honestly feel that way sometimes with sales? Like, if I get a sale or I sell a challenge pack, it's like I'm taking away from people. Like, we have this weird thing with money, like, oh, they're giving me money for this thing. Like, I'm going to reap a reward, but it's going to cost them something. And if you have any part of you that still feels that way on any level, like really check in with that, because that is the furthest thing from what we do. But what I do know is that will prevent you from making sales. That will prevent you from helping clients, giving them anything at all, helping them with anything. It will stop you, because you're always going to feel like it's a combat and like you are doing something that's like putting them out or hurting them, right? Apparently you guys are way more advanced than I am, because I seriously had that mentality for like the first 2 years of my career as a Beachbody coach. So y'all are doing better than I was, because I seriously felt that way for like 2 solid years in my career as a Beachbody coach. And I really had to work against that, because again, the stigma on sales, the stigma on network marketing, the stigma on all this stuff. Pillar 3 was flow. Don't overthink. See the match in your mind, but once you are in motion, let go and trust your training. Trust your instincts. Don't try to control the sequence of events. Let it unfold. And pillar 4 is honor. The bow that you make to each other before each match is not an empty gesture, and it is far more than mere tradition. Your form, your skill, your execution, these are all important. But more important than any of these is your being. By this, we mean your sense of respect as well as self-worth, of dignity and character. How you behave toward yourself, your opponent, your team, and your dojo. I was like, man, this is some deep business shit coming from the martial arts. I thought that was super deep. Okay, I totally skipped the whole chapter, but I thought those 4 of mind, connection, flow, and honor were really powerful. And I also feel like that component of flow in our business, like when you're talking to someone and you're like getting to know them and maybe offering them to join a fitness group or to ask them if they've considered coaching, like for me, it's sometimes hard for me to train on that process because it is so instinctual. I really don't try to make it something it's not. If I feel like I super have to force it, I don't ask because that doesn't feel like normal. It feels uncomfortable. But there are so many times where it does naturally emerge. Like I'm watching this person's post, we've talked a couple times, I love their energy, and I'm like, dude, like, have you ever considered doing this? I think you'd crush it. I think you'd be amazing at it. It's such an organic flow. I don't try to stop it. I get it out before the fear sets in, before the what if, what are they gonna say, and what I just get it out. I'm like when I'm feeling that flow, I'm just like, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna ask them, and then they're gonna tell me yes or no, and I'm gonna say okay. And what's even better is when it's so like a casual dialogue where it really feels like you're connecting and flowing, and where you let them off the hook ahead of time. So what I mean by that is I did a follow-up today where I had already followed up with these girls once, and I was following up again about watching a video. I had already sent them this coaching video for joining a team. And I was like, look, I totally imagine your life is crazy busy and you have like either like forgotten I sent you this or your schedule just got really hectic. I don't want to continue to bother you. So please, if you're not interested, no harm, no foul. I'm taking it off the table and we're good. Like, you just let me know. All right. I hope you're having an amazing day. I literally sent that to 2 people. And what did they send back? Oh no, girl, I didn't forget. It's on my schedule. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I'll get back with you. I was like, oh, perfect. But I took them off the hook by saying, hey, if this isn't for you, if you're not interested at all, it's no problem. Like, it's totally cool, girl. I feel you, right? Get people off the hook. Make it so casual and conversational that they just want to respond to you, whether it's with a yes or a no, or it doesn't matter. Because they know, regardless, you're going to be cool with them. You know, like that your yes or your no does not define your relationship to them. That it's just an invitation. It's like saying, hey, you want to come get coffee with me? And they're going to be like, no. And you're going to be like, cool, I'm still going to go get coffee. See you later. You're not going to be like, you don't want to get coffee with me? What the fuck? Like, you know, rage. Like, no, you're just going to be like, okay, cool. Sable's like, that would be me. Don't use Sable as an example. Don't be Sable. She's going to talk now. Are you typing or speaking? I see your fingers flailing. I'm going to unmute you.
Nothing. Yeah, if you don't want to get coffee with me, you're dead to me. I mean, for the record, like for real.
All right, so bad example for Sable. Don't be.
I mean, you just use something different. Like coffee to me is so important. Like,
do you want to go eat some broccoli with me? No, I don't want to eat broccoli. Fine, I'm going to go eat broccoli with myself.
I'm eating broccoli right now for dinner. But yeah, don't mess with my coffee. Use a different example, okay? Thanks.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a bad example. Take it back. Don't do that. I do think that a lot of my success has really been the level of flow that I've had in making invitations or follow-ups, in not making them mean a whole lot, and not putting a lot of pressure on people, and not putting a lot of pressure on me. I'm just being like, I really like this person. I think working with them would be great. I'm going to give them the opportunity to say yes or no. And here's another perspective I want to offer you guys that I don't think we really talk enough about. Give people an opportunity to take a stance on something. Let me explain what I mean by this. Too many people get themselves off the hook by not, like, especially on the internet, they get to just ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get to ghost. That's something that they get to do on the internet. Like, if you were talking to someone face to face and you asked them a question, they wouldn't have the ability to disappear. You'd be like, what's wrong with this person? Like, if they turned around and walked away and didn't answer you, you would be like, what? Right? That doesn't happen. But on the internet, it makes it very easy for people to not tell you their truth, right? So kind of when I send an invitation, it's almost like I'm prompting someone to tell me their truth. Like, I don't let them off the hook. I'm like, you're either going to give me a yes or a no. And this is going to be a self-development exercise for me and for you. Both of us are going to have some self-development out of this. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think it's important that people have the ability to say no. I think too many people are just like coasting because they don't know how to say no.
So one of the trainings, I don't know if Mel's still on here. No, it looks like Mel's phone died. So one of the trainings during Summit was that, and the coach, it was the male that was leading the session, was saying, I follow up until I get a yes or a no. Mm-hmm. And he said that he's like, I'm equally okay with a yes as I am a no, but I'm going to push them to give me an answer. And he will not take ghosting as an answer.
Yeah.
And he gave an example, and like they were really ridiculous, like these examples, right? I think, Susie, you had the same course where he was like using the analogy of like Castaway and Wilson and the volleyball, right? So he was like, are you my Wilson? Did you just float away? Like, I need you to answer me. Like, are you interested or not? And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just haven't, like, I saw your message and I didn't answer. Yeah. And he was like, that's cool, but I didn't answer. Like, and he's going to keep bothering people, like following up with them until they give a yes or a no. And then he has no preference whether it's a yes or no, but he wants an answer. Like, he will not take ghosting as a response.
So here's my technique for that, because you're probably going to get ghosted a lot. So here's what I do. I follow up 3 times. I send a video. First of all, I ask them, hey, I think you'd be so good at this. I think you'd crush it, whatever. Have you ever considered it? They say, yeah, maybe, and I say, well, I have a short video that explains what we do. Would you be open to watching it? When they say yes to that, I then send the video. So it's 2 parts. Ask them if they'd be open to watching the video, send the video. After I send the video, within 2 days, I'm like, hey, let's follow up. Did you get a chance to watch the video? I'd love to hear what you loved most about that video. They either say, no, they haven't yet, or they ghost me. I wait another 2 days. I follow up again. Hey, just following up again, seeing if you finally got a chance to watch that video. And then I say something like what I said today. I don't want to keep bugging you if this is not of interest. That's totally cool. But I just want to know, like, did you want to talk more about it or not? The third follow-up I send, if I don't hear from them, is I'm going to take this offer off the table. I imagine that at this moment in time, it's not a good time for you, or you're just not interested. And that's okay. Like, hope you're having an amazing day. I'll catch you on IG or on Facebook. Those are my 3 follow-ups. So that's exactly how I follow up. And after that, I put that person back in a rotation of like contacting them every 30 days. So I'm still touching base with them. Because you guys have to understand, this business is about timing more than it is about anything. Someone could totally be in love with the concept, but the timing could be totally off. And this is something that Bob teaches as well. He's like, people have to be at a 12 o'clock exactly to sign up and to like really want to do something with this business. If they're at 11:59, you think they're at 12, but they're not. You know, like timing is really everything. So if you followed up 3 times with someone, they still haven't done anything, put them to check in 30 days. A lot happens in 30 days. Circumstances change, things happen. When you touch base with them again, they might be like, you know what? I am ready to watch that video now. Or you know what? I have been thinking about you. So don't discredit that. It's super important. I don't have any more quotes. I just like this conversation now that we're having. That we've learned at Summit, these things. Because I mean, it goes in the whole like connecting and flowing and seeing a success in your mind. Also, going back to kind of the spirit thing and leaning on your faith. Honestly, feel like something I haven't talked enough about on this team is how much my faith has driven my business. I really haven't talked so much about that, and that's going to start changing. Because when I say that I feel like God brought me to this business, it's not an exaggeration. And when I feel like God has held me to this business, I absolutely feel like he has. Like, no doubt, has helped me here to do something wonderful in this community, in this world. And I want you guys to know that every day I go to bed and I give thanks for the people that I was able to serve the day before. And I wake up in the morning and I have a very simple prayer on my heart, which is put into my heart the names of the people that want to run this business with me. Put into my heart the names of the people that need my help with fitness and nutrition. Just bring me their names and I will do the legwork and I will go find them. And I tell you what, a day still to date, a day has not gone by when I haven't had the random inspiration or hit to contact XYZ person about things and see how they're doing. And it just so happens they've been watching my stories and we're curious about whatever, you know, like that shit happens to me on a daily basis. That's how I've enrolled or reset. Let me tell you how crazy this is. Not only did I sign up 4 coaches this past week, which has never happened in my business before, ever, and I've been doing this for 3 years. I had a coach who had stopped. She was a discount coach. She had stopped drinking Shakeology, had totally kind of checked out. She was just kind of coasting, paying her coach fee. And she randomly saw a post on my social media where I was talking about TAU and how I'm giving it to my downline. And she was like, oh, I re-signed up. She bought a Morning Meltdown 100 challenge pack, got herself back on Shakeology. She's like, oh, I want to be part of TAU. I want to be active again. Tell me what I needed to be active. I didn't know this. She just went to her online office and did all the work herself. She just messaged me this morning, right? So like, you never know who's watching your stuff. You really don't. You have no idea who's paying attention, who wants to work with you. Your job is to just show up, like be led by your faith and just show up. Do your work. Pray for the names to be given to you. Pray to be led to the right people for your team and for your clients. And then just be obedient. Be obedient in that and go look for them and connect with them. Right? Like that's huge. I attribute so much of my success to those behaviors, which I have up until now kept private because a part of me was like, still feels maybe a little bit shy about talking about that component of my spirituality and how I do pray quite a lot. And I use that in my work. It's not all tactical. It's like very prayer based. And this is why sometimes it's hard for me to teach on these things because they're not tactical. They're not strategic. It's individual, totally, 100%. Anybody have any thoughts on that before we wrap up? Because you've been on the call for a while. But and I think this also came up because a lot of these chapters we were reading in the book was talking about what do you stand for? Like, who are you? What do you believe in? And what do you stand for? That was like a big theme in these 4 chapters. And I was reading that, I was like, I really do stand for like faith-based business. I really do stand for using business as a vehicle for spiritually supporting other human beings. Like hardcore. And this business is the perfect vehicle for that. If there was any business out there that I could say, give me a business that is a perfect vehicle for helping people heal within and without their material resources and their body and their mindset, like this is it. This is everything. This does all those things. Totally. It's the best. Maddie, your hair is so cute. I love it. I'm looking at you. You look so edgy and cool. By the way, Maddie is my cousin, in case y'all didn't know, because we look actually a lot alike. So, in case y'all didn't know we're related, we are. We straight look like each other so much. And she has cool hair, clearly. It runs in the family. Like, that's what we do. We work out and we have cool hair. No questions? I already told him Go Giver influencers for September. So everybody go get Go Giver influencer for September.
August. August, do we need to sign up coaches for calls?
Hold up. I'll tell you right now.
I have like the wrong notebook in front of me. I have all the notebooks, too many notebooks.
I have all the, I know, I have a stack of notebooks, seriously. But
now the cat is crying. Yeah.
Okay, here's our schedule. August. We definitely need some topics for August.
Okay, so one of our goals is we really want to keep up the book club every other month, but on our off months from the book club, we want all of our coaches to sign up to lead a call. So the call can be whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want to talk on, whatever you want to coach on, whatever you want to teach on. But if you can't do it in this safe environment, how are you going to do it? I see your face, Tanya. That's why I'm saying this. How are you going to do this for those clients and coaches that you enroll? Yeah. Girl, I see you. I saw the face as soon as I said, like, you're going to be in charge of a call. So what we want to do is encourage all of you to use this safe environment to practice. So August is 4 weeks. So we need 4 coaches to lead team calls. And if you want, partner up. But we need 4, right? There's 4 weeks in August.
Yes, there's 4. So what we're gonna do after this call, when this video gets uploaded, we're gonna ask for 4 volunteers or 8. You guys can do 2, 2, 2, 2, and just pick something to teach on in the business. We have a bunch of new coaches on this team right now. They need to hear all the basic stuff. They need to know what Success Club is and how you earn it. They need to know, like, tracking. They need to know basic components of this business. So,
also, us old timers need a reminder.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So we're going to be asking volunteers. Just have that in your mind because we have the 4 weeks open. We have some time to get everybody down. So as soon as this video goes up, we'll ask for that. And then we want to kind of continue that trend. So in December, we will be teaching because we're going to be talking a lot about intention, goal setting, and vision boarding. So that's going to be all of December. So we have those topics covered. Just giving you ahead of time, for November, we're going to be reading Atomic Habits. So Go Giver Influencer and Atomic Habits are the 2 books that we're going to be reading for the rest of the year. So you can go ahead and find those ahead of time, order them together. And then we will be asking you guys to do this like training topic thing for the next couple of months. Because Sable, Melanie, Lauren, and myself are going to be doing master classes every week, every month. We're going to be teaching master classes. So you're going to be hearing from people who are pretty much experts in their field. So Lauren McKay is a new coach to this team, but she was with another network marketing team for a long time, another company. And she ended up not really working that business and instead got hired by a bunch of people in that company to run their social media. She's really, really well versed in social media marketing. And so she's going to be teaching a master class on that every single month. Melanie is a personal trainer with a lot of experience in complex issues and working with clients in weight loss. So she's going to be teaching a master class on that every single month. Sable's going to be teaching a master class on time, organization, and stress management every single month. And I will be teaching a master class on leadership and law of attraction and beliefs every single month. So you guys understand how to use that for your business. So You have 4 leaders that are teaching you phenomenal material. Every week there's going to be one masterclass. You guys are going to have all the things that you need to be successful in this business. So what we are asking you guys is to take your leadership role and volunteer yourselves to teach team calls. They don't have to be an hour long. It can be less than that, and you can just take questions and stuff afterwards if you want. But we do want to encourage you guys to have a leadership role on this team, to see yourselves as a leader, and to set yourself up for success. So just know that's happening. Tanya doesn't look excited.
No, okay. She looks like she hates us right now.
That's fine.
Also, side note, if you're in Workout Warriors, tomorrow I will be inviting a new prospect that I have to Workout Warriors. This is my biggest prospect ever. And by biggest, I mean she has big goals. She needs to lose over 100 pounds. So I have never worked with anyone that has had such a large goal. I just had a one-on-one with her today, and she isn't really ready to commit to a program yet. She's focusing more on nutrition, not really fitness, but she wants this accountability group. So I'm going to go ahead and add her into Workout Warriors. You'll see my post tomorrow welcoming her, but it's going to be big. She's going to need a lot of work because over 100 pounds is a big deal.
All right, so we have our work cut out for being overly excited for people, which is what we do.
That's what I told her. I was like, girl, I hope you're ready because they're going to pounce on you. Like, they're going to overlove you. They're gonna, like.
Kasara put that one post about the treadmill, and she had like 5 comments in 15 minutes. She was probably like, what happened? It was just.
I know, she was already. I had a drink with her after work, and she's already like, I don't like that they say my watch was more correct than my treadmill because my treadmill had better results. I was like, I told you they were real. They're going to be honest with you.
Yeah, legit. For sure.
So yeah, we have a 100-pound weight loss goal on our hands coming our way in Workout Warriors. So I'm very excited.
Also, Morning Meltdown 100 goes live on Monday. So if you are in Sable, Kari, and my challenge group, then you need your pack by then and your accessory bundle. And then you need to fill out my application or Sable's application and get into our group because we need to have your information so we can invite you into the group. Most of you who already want to participate are already in there. And if you're not yet starting your own group for clients, coaches, you need to do that. You are a coach. You need to take ownership of your position as a coach. Don't feel like you have to do that alone. Pair up with someone, start a group. Like Sable, Kari, and I run Workout Warriors, and it's worked really beautifully. We share that responsibility. It's awesome. You know, so get creative. Don't feel like you have to do all the things. Bring all of your clients to a space and support them. But really, like, it's time to own your own ability to be someone's coach. It doesn't mean you can't participate in our groups, but it is time for you guys to do that. So that's my little kick in the fluff butt out of the nest. I love you guys. Go fly. You can do this. All right, my loves. I will see you until next week. Have an amazing night. Bye.